Welcome to Terror in Tandem, a podcast about finding entertainment in the macabre, hosted by the knowledgeable and lovable Laura and Richard Mathiasen. Each episode, we discuss the horror genre, from books to film to TV and beyond. Sometimes even from the beyond. You can find us on our new YouTube channel, Terror in Tandem, or online at terrorintandem.com and on Instagram at Terror in Tandem.
Don't forget that Insta.
Hit us up.
Yeah, for sure. We'd love to hear from you.
Send us a message.
If you're nice, we're super
Tell us
fragile.
what you did for Halloween Octerrofest. What was your favorite episode? Why not? What would you like to see us do episode-wise? Send your favorite
Why do you only have one favorite
pictures.
episode? Why aren't they all your favorites?
Well, they are and will be to our many multitudes of fans and listeners alike.
We'd like to send a special thank you to both of our listeners.
Yeah, thank you so much, listener. So this is our monthlies. We're back to our monthlies.
Yes,
Monthlies
our visitor
are
has
back.
returned.
Yeah.
Back in the cycle, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. It happens every month.
It's totally normal, although sometimes not welcome.
No. Well,
I guess
our monthlies are welcome.
And regular ones, depending on your plans for life.
They always come in the beginnings of the month, these episodes. And
yes.
this is going to be our November coming attractions.
And going to level with you, I am doing something a bit different.
He's cheating.
I'm cheating. Yay.
Here's the 411 or the down low, that as you kids may call it out there.
Yes, all you kids.
All you kids. The down low is that not a lot is coming out in November
as
horror related.
Spectacular and packed a month, the month of October was, and it should be. November is dry.
Yeah.
It's a good, I thought, instead of forcing something and recommending something I'm not really that into, because I've got integrity, people, I thought, well, if it's a slower month, why not go back through the year's monthlies, and I'm going to focus on a few recommendations that just slipped right by me, or they didn't make the cut for whatever reason. They came out the day we recorded the episode, or I don't know. There's a lot out there. I'm not perfect. Come on. Give me a break, everybody.
I'm not doing any of that. I'm doing coming attractions, what's coming out in November.
Yes. No, you're not a dirty, stinking cheater like I am.
No.
A lying thief.
I don't smell.
I
am going to be doing...
It's a medical condition, and I have been working on it.
Yeah, I know. You really need to up your perfume.
I just ordered so much Axe body spray.
Yum.
It's great.
I can smell you from here.
All the ladies love it.
We're not in the same room.
Yeah, who doesn't love a middle-aged man who sprays on his deodorant?
Well, I've never met a middle-aged man.
Yeah.
I thought you were a young man.
I am.
So, I just wanted to say that, like the leaves falling from the trees, we will rake up what we can for the coming attractions.
I was excited to see where that went, and
didn't,
not disappointed.
Listen, that's good.
It was pretty good. Yeah.
Speaking of not disappointed, I want to give a quick shout out.
I think I know who this is for.
I want to give a shout out to our youngest and shortest listener.
And coolest.
Well, what he makes up for in height and age, what he lacks in height and age, I should say, he makes up for in hairstyle,
in hair magnificence,
and coolness,
and absolute coolest personality.
Yeah,
dopest kid on the block.
He's super awesome, and he's probably going to be starting his own podcast
with
Samuel Wyatt.
Yes,
we're
Samuel
giving you a shout out,
Wyatt, and your luxurious curly locks.
Yeah, you are
the envy of all.
We're making this Sam friendly episode, so although he's a big fan of us, he can finally listen to this episode.
One of our co-hosts, and he shall remain nameless, will be toning down his New York grammatical proclivities.
According to Samuel Wyatt's mother, though, I also am inappropriate.
Well, you know what? Samuel Wyatt's mother has a point there.
Yeah, she's known me a long time.
Incorrect.
So,
she is not wrong about that. You are a deviant.
Yeah, but I think Sam got most of his coolness from you, and don't know where that hair came from, but I love it. And
from
he loves
Mrs.
it.
Samuel
and he
Wyatt?
rocks it.
From Mama Wyatt.
Yeah.
That's what we're calling her.
Yeah.
I'm sure she'll love it.
So we hope you enjoy this episode.
Hey,
Sam.
Sammy, enjoy.
So let's talk about horror.
Let's recommend movies that you can't watch for at least another 10 years.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's something to look forward to, buddy.
Exactly. You just this is going to be in recorded history, and you can tell all your friends at
Yeah.
school
When you turn 18,
you were given a shout out on a world famous.
When you're on a class
podcast.
trip to the Smithsonian with the rest of your classmates, you can point to the gold podcasts that the U.S. government has archived for us because it's a national treasure, and just say, hey, I know those guys.
And also, we do. I mean, I wasn't kidding about international. We have listeners in Australia, in Israel, in
Germany,
in the UK.
Yeah, we do. Listen, we are, and I don't mean to brag, but world famous, absolutely,
Internationally
world renowned,
and we're known to pod the microphone.
That's right.
So yeah,
Drop it like it's
hope
pod.
It's worth
Drop
it.
it like it's pod.
Hope this is worth it. Why don't I start, since I am doing
Since
it?
you are following the rule, since you're a conformist.
Yeah. Well, this is our own conformity.
That's
we
true.
created. I'm not conforming to anything
That's
other
true.
than
we did set the
my
rules.
own intentions.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to start with a movie.
Oh.
The only movie on my list. It's called The Killer, and it's on Netflix, coming out November 10th. But it's a little bit of a cheat because it is in theaters right now, but it very, very limited.
Well, Netflix does that so they can still be eligible for the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
Because you have to release theatrically. So they'll release a movie for like a weekend just to get on the ballot.
And so it's coming to Netflix November 10th, and it's based on the graphic novel of the same name written by Alexis Nolan. It's starring Michael Fassbender.
Awesome.
And Tilda Swinton. And Michael Fassbender's name in the movie is the killer, and Tilda Swinton's name is the expert. They don't have any other names.
Very
which
quickly,
is really cool.
This is in no way related to the classic John Woo, Chow Yun-fat starring movie The Killer, which originally I thought, is this a remake? Which The Killer itself was a remake of Jean-Pierre Melville's Le Samurai. Sorry. But this is its own thing. And judging by the trailer, very much David Fincher.
Yeah, right.
Also, like, just as an aside, I'm really glad to see Michael Fassbender return to quote-unquote acting. Like, I love Michael Fassbender, but he's spent a lot of time wearing plastic helmets and shooting sparklies out of his fingers in movies.
Yeah.
So, like,
a lot of people have done doing
I know.
that.
It's just like this dude came doing movies like Hunger.
Yeah.
And now, then he did a bunch of really crummy X-Men movies and one good one.
Well, back to my recommendation, because
Yes.
it's directed by David Fincher, as you just sort of pooed out there.
I did.
And music by Trent Reznor and
Nice.
composer Atticus Ross, and they've worked together a lot, and also worked together with Fincher on "Girl with the Dragon Tattoo." I believe "Bones and All" they both composed a song for,
But not with David Fincher. That was Luca
no.
Guadagnino. They
But
did do the
David
music for The
Fincher
Social
was-
Network.
Yep. Mm-hmm. David
Yeah.
Fincher, I hope, is also a return to form here.
Yeah.
I mean, he's never really been a miss for me, but
No, but I know what you mean.
He hasn't been a hit for me of late.
There was a time in Fincher's earlier career where he was so exciting and everything he did was like an event.
Yeah.
At least in my mind. And now maybe it's the glut of content. Maybe it's that there's so many new talented directors out there that it feels a little watered down sometimes, or David Fincher's producing something or whatever. So I'm excited to see him getting back to his roots. This looks like a pretty
Dark.
hardcore movie.
So let me give you the synopsis. It's a lone man who doesn't have any real emotional attachment to his work. And
Same.
he is a contract assassin.
Different.
Yes. And he thinks he's losing his mind. And so it's a very stylish professional assassin film. But he doesn't have a moral compass, so we really see his decline as he becomes more interested in the work that he's doing, but not the being hired to do the work part.
You know, that is always a very difficult needle to thread, is having a protagonist who's unlikable, but you still want, you're still rooting for them. You still want to follow them. To have somebody who is not a typical hero, not a likable person, but not so disdainful that you can't stand to watch them for 90 minutes.
And Michael Fassbender is really compelling.
Oh, he's
and
awesome.
Tilda Swinton is always good. And
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be a strange movie, which I'm really excited about.
I don't know if Tilda Swinton does other kinds of movies. I could seriously just listen to her read the paper. I could watch her read it silently for 2 hours and call that a great movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
She is so, like, she's a treasure.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see the Fassbender in this film, but we'll see Michael of it all.
There is a movie you can see if that is more to your liking. But yeah, I'm also looking forward to this. I wasn't sold on it, and then I watched the trailer, and it really leans heavily into the unreliable narrator aspect of Michael Fassbender, which I love. I love it when you're following the main character and you can't quite trust them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That erodes the audience's sense of safety and keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
Great recommendation.
Thanks. What do you got?
Okay, so
real.
yeah, all right. Listen, like I said, these things are not coming out in November because they are already out. They are things that I just missed. Listen, I'm not perfect. I'm just nearly perfect. So my first one is Castlevania Nocturne on Netflix. It's on Netflix now.
Is that animated?
Yes, it is animated, and it is the follow-up to perhaps the best adult animation I've ever seen in my life, Castlevania, which ran for 3 seasons on Netflix. Every episode was written by the inestimable, incredible, talented, and also extremely personally problematic Warren Ellis. Now, the original series had incredible animation, really great writing, and the cast. Richard Armitage, Tony Amendola, Matt Frewer, Graham McTavish, Emily Swallow, and James Callis, just to name a few. Very adult, quite violent, and very mature in its themes. Now, Castlevania Nocturne, I was a little hesitant about because it's a completely different creative team, and it takes place, I think, at least 100 years after the first show. It is following Richter Belmont.
When does the first show take place?
The first show takes place like in the 1500s, I think.
Okay.
This takes place in
real
Revolution.
Dracula times?
It's actually, Dracula is the main antagonist of the show.
Well, yeah, it's Castlevania.
Yes. So, now this is obviously based on the classic series of games by Konami. Now, Castlevania Nocturne is specifically adapted from 2 of the best ever entries, Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night. Anyone who's played those games knows what I'm talking about. So this follows Richter Belmont, descendant of the original series Trevor Belmont, and Maria Renard as they travel through revolutionary France battling evil.
Wow.
It looks fantastic. Looks like the animation style has stayed. The cast is also amazing. We've got some more Game of Thrones people like Ian Glenn. We've got Natasha Kinski, Zahn McClarnon, and Franca Potenta playing.
Oh, I love Franca.
Elizabeth Bathory. Yes. Very excited. Also, James Callis returns as Alucard, so that's kind of a connection to the original series. Apparently, it's fantastic. It's gotten great reviews. I can't wait to watch it. You know, I was a big Avatar: The Last Airbender fan, and when Korra came out, The Legend of Korra, I was skeptical, and that turned out to be just as good. So,
and that's going to be on Netflix too?
Legend of Korra has been out for years.
No, the Castlevania.
Castlevania Nocturne is already on Netflix. You can watch every episode of the first season. I believe it's been renewed for a second season, and it seems to be an excellent continuation of what I mentioned earlier was maybe the best genre animation for grown-ups I've ever seen. So, Castlevania Nocturne, Netflix, y'all.
Well, my next recommendation is a TV series. And this one is called A Nearly Normal Family. And it comes out November 24th, also on Netflix.
I wish I had one of those.
It's Swedish language.
Nice.
And most of the actors, if not all of them, are Swedish.
How many
I'm not
Skarsgårds
going
are in
to
it?
none. I'm
No?
not going to give any of their names.
Probably for the best.
Yes, so you can look it up yourself if you want to see the names of
Like
the
to
people.
not
But I don't want
insult
to
our
correct.
wonderful
I don't want
Swedish
to
friends.
eviscerate the Swedish pronunciations.
And their beautiful names that our American tongues cannot pronounce.
No. It's based on the book of the same name written by M.T. Edvardsson. And it's going to be It's going to be a mini series. I think there are 6 episodes. It's about the Sandell family. The father is a priest. The mother is a lawyer. And they have an 18-year-old daughter named Stella. She's arrested and goes to jail because she's accused of murder. And as the story unfolds, we're getting pieces of the puzzle and learn that the family's not as polished and normal as they appear.
Classic teenage lashing out, you know.
I think it's a lot of mystery around what happened, how Stella was involved in this murder, that her parents don't really know her life or extracurriculars very well.
Every parent's nightmare is you don't really know your kid.
The book is laid out in 3 acts, 3 parts. So I'm not sure how the series is going to be, if it's going to follow along that, but it looks really interesting. Very different. It's, I don't think it's going to be violence and gore. I think it's more going to be mystery, thriller, unreliable.
This sounds right up your alley.
It does. I know.
Twisted family dynamics,
Yep.
a slow reveal mystery centered around a young person.
Yeah, where you don't know what's happening until you know what's happening, and
I
you're
like
putting
that.
your puzzle pieces together along with everybody else.
I like
in real time.
in a mystery when the audience is just as in the dark as the characters.
Yeah,
because then we get to go through it together.
Sometimes I like that, and sometimes I like also when we know the truth.
The dramatic irony.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't go in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So November 24th.
That's great. So
Should we take a quick break?
I think we should take the quickest of all breaks.
All right. Let's do this. Have you ever felt helpless when someone you know has fallen ill? Worried you'll be questioned because you are the last person to see them alive? Well, hire a visiting demon and let all those worries fall away. With our fleet of discreet, well-trained former medical professionals, we take care of that sickly person in your life who you've decided it's just their time to go. Our visiting demons will add that bubble in the IV for the neighbor whose dog just won't stop barking. Or they can add a special night-night cocktail to the pill collection of the great aunt who's just stubborn enough to burn through all the money she promised you. And don't worry, our services also extend beyond the sickly with our elite packages. With one of our elite packages, you can rid yourself of that annoying ladder climber at work who just keeps getting in the way of your big promotion. Or you can turn that road rage into road relief and send a demon to the home of that monster truck driver. Don't wait for natural causes when you can hire a visiting demon. They put the period at the end of life, so you won't have to. This is a fake ad for a fake product on a horror-themed podcast. Visiting demons does not exist, but does it?
And we're back.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back.
High
Hopefully
quality
you
products
enjoyed
for
that product.
high quality listeners.
Yeah.
I am going next, and my next one is a book. I have not yet read this, but it is on my list, and the list of books to read is now longer than any book I've ever read, which is a good problem to have, y'all.
Yeah, I know.
So, and we're coming into winter peak reading time.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is Spin a Black Yarn by TNT favorite Josh Malerman.
Yeah.
And it's being brought to you by Books, because it is a book. Now, Josh Malerman, for those of you that don't know, is the author of Bird Box, Mad Black Wheel, and others. He's like I said, a favorite over here. Now, this is a bit of a departure for Mr. Mallerman in that it is a collection of 5 novellas.
Wow.
All power to short form genre fiction. I love short stories and novellas. Stephen King is the one who really got me into it. Even when he achieved massive financial and critical and commercial success as a novelist, he's still publishing collections of stories. It's just wonderful. I love the different flavor you always get with a short story. It's has to be told differently because it's constrained by its length.
I also like when short story collections have a thematic thread.
Oh yeah, connective thread. I know. Other than scary.
Yeah,
just something that ties them together.
Or like a character keeps coming up.
I'm not sure if that's the case here, but this is a collection of 5 novellas by Josh Mallerman. Now, one of the stories is about 2 siblings of a murdered triplet who conspire to drive the murderer insane. So I'm sure that goes great. There's another one about a dying father who, on his deathbed, confesses to his family crimes he never committed, but seems to know lots of details about them, but definitely didn't do them. Or did he? And some good old haunted house shenanigans. Listen, I love short form. I love genre fiction. I love Josh Mallerman. Pretty hard to see this one going wrong. It came out back in August, so it is readily available. And the moment I get a break in the library of books I still have to read, I'm going to check this one out because Josh Mallerman, in my experience, it's only ever pretty good or great.
Yeah, he also wrote A House at the Bottom of a Lake.
We did read that.
Yep.
That
Daphne,
was great.
Which was a recommendation
Daphne,
of yours.
Yep.
And that his most...
And Mallory.
Yeah,
which is the follow-up to Bird Box. Yeah.
Correct.
I have a lot of Josh Mallerman to catch up on, honestly.
Yeah.
I have fallen a little
too
behind.
Called Pearl that came out in 2021.
Don't know that. That one I don't know.
Yeah,
honestly.
I don't either. And I think it will probably be something that I'll add to my list.
Well, can't go wrong with Josh Mallerman. He is a blast. He, I believe, has a background as a musician, which is especially interesting when you read his novel Mad Black Wheel, which is about a group of musicians. But anyway, this one is Spin a Black Yarn. Great title, by the way.
Great
and,
cover.
Yeah, it seems like a nice, fun read. And the good thing is if you get 10 pages into a novella and you hate it, go to the next one.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't like the one you're reading, then
go to the next one. And if you get all the way through, great. Not a lot of time you wasted. It's a low commitment. Yeah.
Usually you can read a short story in a sitting and
exactly
just sit a couple more times.
Spin some black yarns, y'all.
That's right. So my last recommendation is, and then I have a mention of what's coming
now
out.
Who's cheating?
No, it's rude. So my recommendation is A Murder at the End of the World. It's a short series on Hulu, November 14th, starring Emma Corrin, who was in The Crown and Deadpool 3 and My Policeman, and Britt Marling from the OA and Clive Owen.
Oh, cool.
It was created by the husband-wife team, Zal Batmangali and Britt Marling. They did the OA together.
Britt Marling is an interesting woman. She's very, very talented, and I don't think gets enough credit for her writing.
Yeah. Well, I think she does, actually.
Well, I think she could get more.
It's a niche, though. I think it's a niche. It's a little spiritual horror, psychological
Well, the
horror.
OA was definitely unique.
Yeah. And Phyllis from The Office was in it.
She was.
So yeah, this Richard and I watched the trailer, and it really does look like something I would like. Basically, a reclusive billionaire gets a bunch of diverse guests to come to his home. It's basically a whodunit. Emma Corrin plays Darby, and there are, I think, 11 other guests, so there are 12 total. And when one of the other guests is found dead, Darby has to prove it was murder before the killer takes another life. So
it's very reminiscent of Agatha Christie.
Yeah, but with the strange visual, it's going to be a little chaotic. It's going to be a psychological thriller. You're not going to really know what happened or who to trust.
Yeah, so Emma Corrin's going to be the villain in the upcoming Deadpool 3, and the rumor is she might be playing Cassandra Nova, which, fans of the comic, that's exciting.
She's now romantically involved with Rami Malek.
No kidding.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, as an actor, I don't know him personally, but he's a great actor.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
A Murder at the End of the World on Hulu.
Nice. Like, you don't have enough problems at the end of the world. So my final recommendation, I saved the best for last. It is, the reason it didn't come up in my October recommendations is because I didn't find out about it until after we recorded. I knew the movie existed. I didn't know it was being released in October. So I am talking about the Argentinian film by up-and-coming master of horror, Demian Rugna, who previously directed Terrified, which is one of my favorite movies of the last few years.
Isn't the second one coming out?
No, that's Terrifier.
Oh.
That's about the clown.
Yeah.
This is Terrified.
Okay.
This is much different. Terrifier is fine if you like clown slashers and like really, really over-the-top gore. Terrified is a haunted house movie that I think I talked about in a previous episode and is legit one of the scariest movies I've seen in years. Now, this is When Evil Lurks. It came out on Shudder on October 27th after premiering at Fantastic Fest, and I'm going to level with you. When I saw Talk to Me this year, I walked out of that thinking, oh, well, that's it. That's #1 horror movie of the year. No challenges. Then I watched When Evil Lurks, and oh boy, I don't know. Now, before I get into the plot, I do want to mention a couple of things about this movie. This movie is horror with a capital H. It is what we mean when we say the word horror. By that I mean it is very tough to watch, bleak, terrifying, gory, and absolutely relentless. It is a movie that I do not recommend for the faint of heart. I do not recommend for the casual viewer.
And you don't recommend it for me.
No, I do not. Now, if you have seen movies like Martyrs or Hereditary and you enjoyed those experiences, this is absolutely the movie for you. Guess what? I'm that person.
Yeah.
So anyway.
He's a weirdo, everyone.
Last trigger warning I'm going to give.
Him.
This movie is not kind to children or animals. That's all I'm going to say. So if you are okay with that, dive on in.
No
if
thanks.
not, give this one a wide berth. So this movie is incredible. Now that I have scared you all away, this movie rocked my world. Now, in the world that Demian Rugna has set up in When Evil Lurks, demonic possession has been around for a while, and it's commonplace, and everyone knows about it. Churches are basically gone. The idea of organized religion is basically gone, and demonic possession is treated more like a viral plague.
Oh, wow.
So there are governmental regulations. There are ministries that send out rules. Everybody knows what this is. The possessed are called rotten.
Yikes.
It's very, very cool. The world building in this movie is so well done. It's so interesting. And the way that Rugna lays it out, it's not a big exposition dump at the beginning of the movie. You learn throughout the movie the state of the world, the rules, and what's going on. And it's absolutely fascinating. It's done throughout the movie so that you never have that moment where somebody's just talking for 15 minutes about what's going on. Mm-hmm. It's just really great. Now, in this world, so the possessed are known as rotten. They're dealt with by professional exorcists known as cleaners or limpiadores. Now, one day, these two brothers, Pedro and Jaime, stumble upon a dead cleaner in the woods by their house. Then they find out that someone's been hiding a rotten on the property.
Oh, no.
Now, the thing about the rotten is they're not demons. They are basically someone gets possessed. They become a rotten, and they are incubators for a demon. So a demon will be birthed from them. And one of the main rules is you can only kill a rotten with a cleaner, with an exorcist. If you shoot one, you just release the evil into the world. So what this movie really is about the failure of government and bureaucracy. And Rugna has said this himself. He was inspired to make this after a scandal in Argentina where it was discovered that for decades, farmers and migrant workers were getting cancer from pesticides that were being bought by the government, and the government was basically covering it up. And listen, no offense to Argentina, every government does this. We have done it and continue to. So he was inspired to write this based on the failures, because we all know that people can't be trusted. That's why we have governments.
Yeah.
We all know that if left to our own devices and told, do the right thing, not everybody's going to do that. The thing about the human race is just enough people will do the right thing, but not enough will do it to save us. Just enough will do it to make sure that our end takes a really long time. So in this movie, and I understand that we toned this episode down and I'm recommending quite a hardcore movie. It's very easy, I think, to judge the terrible decision-making of the people in this movie, but put yourself in their shoes.
Well, it's a fiction also.
These people in this
real.
movie are flawed, normal, regular people who are being lied to, who are being told misinformation, and are doing their best. They make a lot of mistakes, and the pain of this movie is most of the terrors that are visited upon them are the results of their own actions and bad decision-making. But what would you do? What would any of us do? I say, don't be so quick to judge these flawed people. Now, once again, this is a very scary movie. Anyone who's seen Terrified knows that Rugna has usually one scene in a movie where it just sticks with you, and that's the shower scene in Terrified. I describe this movie as the shower scene from Terrified for an hour and 40 minutes straight. For 100 minutes. Just, it is relentless. Take your blood pressure medication first, and the ending is suitably bleak for a movie like this. Now,
this is right up your alley.
It really is. If you enjoy true horror, like real bleak, dark stuff, and to the credit of the filmmaker, this is a violent movie, but it never felt outside the narrative. The violence and the terrors of this movie absolutely served the story, and they served the narrative, which is why I didn't have a problem with them. Same thing with Martyrs. It's a very hard movie to get through, but it serves a purpose. It's not just somebody showing off their toys. It's largely why, even though it's coming out this month, I am not recommending Thanksgiving, because I've seen a couple of Eli Roth movies, and I don't know.
It's not for us.
It's not for me. I'm not a fan of being disgusting for the sake of being disgusting. Now, if something is gross in service of the story, great.
Yeah, but when you purposely make things gross.
Like if your whole deal is just to show how edgy you are, I mean, that's so early 2000s. Anyway, when evil lurks, I honestly... For the deviant like myself that enjoys feeling terrible when they watch movies, you can't do better than this. This is top-notch horror of the highest degree. It is real tough to watch. But for everybody else, people like who are normal, maybe watch the trailer first.
And I just want to give one final shout out to the film Drag Me to Hell. I did just mention it on our Cursed Objects episode, and it's now streaming on Netflix.
Yay! So, everyone watched that.
Yeah.
It's
real good. It's real scary.
It's also fun.
It is.
It's got like just enough camp and humor, Sam Raimi style.
Enough.
But like, it's classic Sam Raimi. So it's got tiny little injections of camp and humor here and there that make it a really good time. The movie I just described has none of that.
Yeah.
please let me be very clear. You will not have a good time.
And if you're ever struggling, like if these recommendations aren't appealing to you, or you just don't have the time to invest into a television series, listen back to our other coming attractions episodes and watch or read something that you might have missed.
We recommend video games too.
We sure do. So we hope you enjoy this coming attractions.
Yeah. And
also what's coming is more Terror in Tandem episodes.
So many. We got some really great episodes. We've got some new sponsors coming.
Yep.
And
sure do.
You know, just in my defense a little bit, there's nothing wrong with taking a nice slow November to catch up on your backlog. That's what I'll be doing.
Exactly. Do it. And enjoy. And we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Terror in Tandem is written, produced, and recorded by Laura and Richard Mathiasen, and edited and mixed by Richard Mathiasen. Our theme was written and performed by Carrie Denver, and all other music was written and performed by David Suspanic. All opinions expressed on this podcast are our own and should be taken as such. Thanks for listening, and please remember to give us a like, a review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. We're still